Oi! Yes! Here we go, guys. First Balls Deep breakdown of the week. And instead of it being on my channel, it is on the brand new MMA Engine YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Balls Deep Breakdown with me, your host, Uncle Weezy. We've got an absolute banger lined up for you guys today. I've got Jalin Turner versus Jamie Mullarkey. UFC 272. This should be the last fight on the prelims, according to what UFC Stats has on their webpage right now. This looks like it's going to be the last preview or the prelim fight of the night before we get to the main card. It's going to be a great fight. Two young, up-and-coming fighters who have gotten some good wins so far in the UFC, coming off a couple of good wins as well. So I can't wait to get into the stats with you guys here. Let's see what you guys are up to in the chat here. And just before we get to that, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us on the new YouTube channel here for MMA Engine. This is something that we've been working on here behind the scenes for a while. My guy Lou Betya, my guy DFS by the numbers, and my guy Monk and myself are trying to build something for the MMA community that we think you guys will find useful, a place for us all to kind of meet, figure out what we want to do betting-wise, DFS-wise for the week, provide a bunch of content, provide a community of people who enjoy betting on these kind of things, and provide it for that community. We can't wait to share it with you guys. Thank you for sharing it with us tonight. We got the very first one in the room tonight is Grateful Dude saying, "Oi, what's up, Grateful Dude? Thanks for joining us." We got my guy Chris for the Love MMA saying, "Oi, here to support the new channel. Big ups, Chris. We really appreciate you, brother. You've always been a supporter since day one, man. I really appreciate it." And another guy, Daz Files, a supporter since day one. Oi, good to see you, man. Yeah, and that's me right there saying we're going to be starting at 15. We got my guy DFS by the numbers saying, "Oi, yes." And we got Daz File saying YouTube should have migrate subscribers button. That would be something else, wouldn't it? But I'm still going to be doing Balls Deep breakdowns on the Uncle Weezy channel as well, and we're still doing Just the Tip on the Uncle Weezy channel. But in order to bring some flavor here to the MMA Engine channel, you know, Brady brought over his main event breakdown that we do together every week. I'm bringing over a Balls Deep breakdown. We got Monk and Lou bringing over what was originally Dinner with Lou. And then after Dinner with Lou, it was first round finish. And now we've settled on the happy hour with Monk and Lou. And it is right there during happy hour on a Friday to get you all that last minute DFS advice that you need to get your lineups ready for the next day's fights. So we're going to continue adding content to the channel. We're also planning a prop show. I am building a prop template that could give us a really deep insight in how to price these over-under lines and how to price these fight goes and fight doesn't go to decision lines using combined finish rates in wins, losses, and wins and losses for both fighters and each fighter, and then comparing them against the divisional benchmarks and how those divisional benchmarks have changed over the years. It's something that I've been working on for the last month. I've been putting a lot of work into it. There's a lot of programming that goes into it. But once this prop template is ready, I think we're going to have the skeleton for a really nice, very useful prop show here on MMA Engine as well. So we can't wait to do that. Daz Files, thanks for joining us, brother. We got my guy Lou Betya in the room saying, "Oi, can't wait to hear about the pride of Central Coast." That, of course, is one Jamie Mullarkey from the Central Coast of Australia. An absolute scrapper, a guy that everybody loves watching fight. He has not been in a boring fight yet, and this guy just coming off a savage knockout of Devontae Smith, who was also on this card. So, yeah, this is a great fight with Turner and Mullarkey here, and I can't wait to break it down with you guys. Daz Files saying, "Hey, it's a beautiful area full of husos, otherwise known as bogans," which I know is an Australian word for kind of like, I don't know what we'd call it in America. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not exactly a compliment if I remember correctly. I know there was a show that my brother used to watch called Something Something Bogans that I think it was either English or Australian, and he said it was hilarious. I never got a chance to see it, but I'm just glad to see that word bogans in there. And he must be talking. He must be talking about the Central Coast. Is that what you're talking about, Daz Files? That's the beautiful area full of Husos. That's why he's so tough. Okay, so maybe they make him tough over there in the Central Coast. I don't know, man. I've never been there before. I've never been to Australia, so you know, my guy Daz Files is gonna have to fill me in about that, man. Luke Bet, you saying Mullarkey has been good to my bankroll, my type of fighter, like an Aussie Quarantillo. Yeah, he's not as good as Quarantillo, but he is an Aussie and he does throw a lot of volume and he hits a lot harder, but he doesn't have that suffocating wrestling attack that Billy Quarantillo has and that crazy pace that Billy Quarantillo has. I can't wait to see Billy Q fight again, man. And I hope it's soon because that guy has never been in a boring fight either. And my guy David Dennett saying, sipping on some oi, let's go. Good to see you, David. Thanks for joining us, brother. And Luke Betya saying, Weezy make a perfect Paloma right now. He's drinking for two. I am only, God, you know, I don't even have a Paloma tonight, you guys. It's water right now. I believe we're out of tequila here in the house. So we can't even make a Paloma, even if I wanted to. But tonight, it's about water. After the Balls Deep breakdown tonight, there's going to be more work to do. It's UFC 272, you guys. We got to get all the content out. Just the Tip has to be one of the best Just the Tips ever. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, man, I needed some water there. Thank you. Yeah, but I am drinking for two. I will be. Daz Files saying he's pregnant. Not yet, Daz Files, but he's drinking. I'm drinking for Lou. That's right, you know. Lou hasn't been drinking lately. He's got a lot of work going on behind the scenes to build the MMA engine. And he is absolutely putting in massive hours behind the scenes to help build this thing. And he's the only one that knows how to do it. So our guy Lou stopped drinking, and he is dead serious about building an MMA engine that's going to power us to make way more money betting on fights. And we got Oi, LFG saying Daz. And we got Nick Alexander with the eyes. Good to see you in here, Nick, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Smash that like if you can. I agree with Lou Betcha there. And Mark Schillingberg said, yo, wasn't hip to the MMA engine yet, but found it, subscribed. I'm here. Let's get after it. Thank you for subscribing. If all of you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. We are a new and growing channel, but there is going to be a lot of content coming up on this channel. We're planning on doing a few hours every single week. So it's going to be in your best interest to subscribe so that you get the notices for all the content that we have planned for this channel. And there's going to be a lot of it, you guys. Thank you for stopping by, Mark. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. Mark saying, oh, yes. And we got Paul saying, oi, let's cash more parlays. Let's do it, man. Hardest working stats guy ever. I don't know about that, man. Jock Tits did some stats back in the day when he was working on his geometry theorems and when he was working on Tits buildings and the Tits alternative. And I don't want to ever say that I've worked as hard as Jock Tits because it's just not the case. However, I'm working as hard as I can. I'm no Jock Tits, but I hope I can be the Jock Tits of the MMA YouTube community. And with your help, I know I can, you guys. And Alex Ramirez, otherwise known as the General, in here taking notes. Good to see you, brother. Nick is also taking notes. We got Mark saying, you guys are hardworking MFers. I love it, and I respect it. I appreciate. You'll always have my support. I really appreciate that, man. It means a lot. Dad saying trailer park, maybe. Okay, yeah. That I was gonna say trash. I was gonna say, but that seemed a little bit harsh, So I didn't want to say that. I because it's some of these slang words, they're hard to translate. So I didn't want to say anything that would get me in trouble or piss anybody off. And we got Husios. They get free public housing. Okay, houseos. Okay. Yeah, definitely, that's now I've been hipped to the Australian lingo by my guy Daz Files, much appreciated. And now it's my job as your Uncle Weezy to get you guys hip to all the stats, all the tape that I watched on the UFC 272 matchup between Jalin the Tarantula Turner and Jamie Mullarkey. So let's get into it, you guys, and start like we always do with the tail of the tape. And as always, the stats are available for free. Look in into the description of this video. You can download these stats, follow along with us as we go through them. Use it to help you make all your gambling decisions. I've got all 13 fights on here. It was 13. Now we're down to 12. I will change Dos Anjos Fisayev if we do get a new replacement, if Islam Makhachev winds up taking that fight, if Moicano. I even see that Topuria threw his hat into the ring to get into that fight. So I will update this sheet, and when it updates, you'll see it update on your end too. So the link to Stat Diggers is also in the description of this video on Pub Sports Radio, and the link to the main event breakdown that Brady and I did on the MMA Engine channel earlier today is also in the link to this video. Let's get down to business, you guys. We've got Jalin the Tarantula Turner going to be 1 year younger than Jamie Mullarkey, but both these guys are very young. They're both prospects. They're both getting better. They have not reached their prime yet. Turner, the much bigger dude, 6'3" in comparison to 6 feet from Mullarkey. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage, and he's going to be a southpaw orthodox matchup here. We've got Jalin Turner training out of Adrenaline Combat Sports, Jamie Mullarkey out of Magnus MMA. I believe Jamie Mullarkey's training with Ross Pearson down there. I think that's Ross Pearson's place of employment, if you will, is down there at Magnus MMA in Australia, and Jalin Turner training here in the United States. If we look at the experience numbers, it's Mullarkey who's got the experience advantage here as a pro, you guys. Oh, and I'm not even sharing my screen. Oh, my God. Damn, dude. And we got my guy Wheel Kick Ignacio in the room. I can't believe I'm reading off stats for you guys here, and I don't even have the screen shared. It's unbelievable. What an amateur move, but like you say, we're just getting started here on the MMA Engine. And we're getting the wheels spinning so far here. All right, come on. There it is. Excellent. All right, cool, you guys. So, yeah, we saw that Jalin Turner, a year younger, 3 inches taller, 3-inch reach advantage, and a southpaw. Mullarkey, 2 more fights. He's got about twice as much cage time as Jalin Turner. Even though Turner only has 2 less fights, the average fight time for Jalin Turner is 5.3 minutes, and for Mullarkey, it's 8.33. So definitely a few more fights there for Jamie Mullarkey in about 2.5 more years as a pro. But it's Jalin Turner who's fought a higher percentages of his career at the highest level, 7 out of 16 fights at the UFC level, while for Mullarkey, it's 4 out of 18. And Jalin Turner actually has the UFC experience advantage here with 3 more fights and 8 more minutes in the UFC cage. And also a much better record at 5-2 in comparison to Mullarkey's 2-2. So when we look at the finish stats here, we're going to see that Jalin Turner has a 100% finish rate, 73% by knockout, 27% by sub. So that would be 3-8. So 8 knockouts, 3 submissions. And in his 5 losses, he's been knocked out 3 of those 5 losses, and he's been knocked out in 1 of his 2 UFC losses. That was up a weight class on short notice against Vicente Luque. So we can maybe forgive him for that one. But Mullarkey, also an incredible finisher, you guys here, 92% finish rate. So when we do the math, 11 wins for Turner as a pro, 14 wins for Mullarkey as a pro, 25 wins combined, 24 of them inside the distance for these guys, a 96% finish rate when you combine their wins. And there is, a comment here right on the screen that just sums it right up. Violence. I mean, when you see that many wins coming inside the distance, it means that both of these guys are not really looking to win minutes. They're looking to win fights. They're looking to win moments. And both of these guys are very good at doing that. And it's Mullarkey who has been finished in 2 of his 4 losses, both by knockout. He's never been subbed, and Jalin Turner has never been subbed. So yeah, both of these guys, tremendous finishers, and these guys have been finished in 5 of their 9 combined losses. So, a fight doesn't go to decision bet is a good look here. Unfortunately, it's already gotten a little bit juiced. It opened around -170, which I think was a really good price. But it was on 5 dimes. A lot of us Americans don't have access to that sports book, and we have to wait for Bet Online to open it 48 hours later, and then they usually wait to open it until it gets juiced on the other sites where it's available first. So unfortunately, right now, as you can see on the ticker on the bottom of the screen that we've got, this is a minus 210 right now for the fight doesn't go to decision. But, with a guy, that's finished 13 of 14 wins and the other guy's finished 11 of 11 wins, and they've been finished in their 9 combined losses more than half the time, it's a pretty good bet, you guys. And we got my guy Wheel Kick in here saying that chain is hip enough for us, Weezy. My girlfriend got this for me a long time ago. I love this thing. It's dope. It's like a knot, like rope chain. It's pretty dope. And it's silver too, so it's nice, man. But I appreciate that you like the chain, you guys. I like that you guys are hanging out, breaking down this fight from nose to toes with us here, because we're going to get into these striking statistics, and this is going to be very, very interesting here, you guys. Both of these guys do a lot of good work in the striking realm, and when we look at the numbers side by side, we're going to definitely see that these guys are winning a lot of moments and minutes here. If we look at Jalin Turner, really fantastic striking ratios, you guys. He lands 6.2 and only absorbs 4.12. So for every 1.5 significant strikes he lands, his opponents are only landing 1. So 47.5% striking accuracy. He's landing a knockdown on 1.4% of the significant strikes that he's landing, which is averaging out to 1.3 knockdowns per 15 minutes. And he's throwing almost twice as much volume as his opponents, as well as he's throwing 13.03 significant strike attempts per minute, but his opponents are only throwing 7.5. 45% striking defense is not good. He needs to get better at using his length in order to help him defensively. But, Mullarkey's blocks punches with his face too. So in this case, Jalin Turner is going to be this is one opponent that Turner isn't going to be way worse defensively than. And Turner has been knocked down once in 7 UFC fights, and that was that averages out to 0.33 knockdowns allowed per 15 minutes. That knockdown did happen though up at 170 pounds with the Luque fight. So he went for a spinning elbow. It was really dumb. He missed with it, and then Luque caught him with a shot that he didn't see. He went down. Luque finished him immediately afterwards. So Turner just a little bit more chinny than Mullarkey. Both of these guys do block punches with their face, though. Neither one of them is particularly good defensively. And when we look at Jamie Mullarkey's striking numbers, they're not as good, but he does have great power, just like Jalin Turner does, and that's very important here. But he's landing 3.03 significant strikes a minute and absorbing 4.45. So his opponents are throwing more volume than him as well, and he's a lot less accurate than Jalin Turner is at 40.63%. But that power number is there. And even though Turner is better at his knockdowns for 15 minutes at 1.3 in comparison to Mullarkey's 0.78, Mullarkey's knockdowns for total significant strikes landed 2 knockdowns in 4 UFC fights at 1.71% is even better than Turner's. But, the fact that Mullarkey is absorbing about 1.5 more significant strikes per minute on the feet than he lands, and that Jalin Turner is landing 2 more significant strikes per minute on the feet than he absorbs, it really leads me to believe that Jalin Turner is going to be the better minute winner at distance here. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. He fights out of both stances, and he does throw good, straight, fast weapons right down the pipe. And another really good weapon of his is that front kick that he is throwing to the body, digging the toes into the midsection. He does a great job using that to control distance, because he can land that kick when you can't land it on him because of that tremendous length that he has. So I think Jalin Turner's ability to be able to manage distance, his far superior volume, his far superior accuracy, and the fact that he's just as defensively responsible as Mullarkey here leads me to believe that Turner will be the better minute winner on the feet and potentially even the better moment winner. But I believe that both of these guys have the potential to win moments and land a big shot. I mean, we've absolutely seen Mullarkey do that, and we have absolutely seen Jalin Turner do that. I mean, 2 knockdowns in only 4 fights for Mullarkey, and we've got 4 knockdowns in 7 fights for Jalin Turner. So both of these guys, great moment winners. But when it comes to the minute winning, I've got to give it to Jalin Turner here with the length, with the volume, with the accuracy. I think he should be the guy winning minutes on the feet here. But then we get down to the grappling. And these grappling numbers are really interesting, you guys. So stay with me here. We got Mullarkey in 4 UFC fights, has attempted 28 takedowns. So excellent. We know that he's probably going to want to wrestle some here. He's going to be at a huge size disadvantage. And, you know, if he doesn't like how this is going on the feet, if he's having trouble pressuring Turner with any effectiveness, if he's not secure marching him down, if he doesn't like how it's going on the feet, I expect Mullarkey to close the distance here, get this thing onto the cage, and see what he can do either in the clinch or on the ground. And we know that Mullarkey has been a willing wrestler in the past, having attempted 28 takedowns in 4 fights. While Jalin Turner is, attempting about a half takedown attempt per fight, as he's only attempted 4 takedowns in 7 UFC fights. However, Turner's getting the takedowns that he goes for. He gets them at a 75% clip, and he's averaging 0.98 takedowns per 15 minutes. And Turner is out-controlling his opponents 21% to 12%. Now, Mullarkey is getting his takedowns at a 32% clip. He's averaging 3.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, 0.39 submission attempts per 15 minutes, and 28.92% control time for, and just under 11% control time against. Both of these guys are stopping takedowns at better than a 2/3 ratio here. Mullarkey's right there at 2/3, 66.67%. He's successfully defended 4 of 6. And Jalin Turner has successfully defended 18 of 23 takedown attempts against him, 78.26% takedown defense. He's being taken down 1.63 times per 15 minutes and having 0.65 submission attempts attempted against him per 15 minutes. Now, what I think is most interesting here are these control times for and against. This is how I get an idea for how efficient these guys are on the ground. When they're getting taken down, are they getting back up? When they execute a takedown themselves, are they fishing for submissions? Are they racking up a bunch of control time? And can they out-control their opponents even if their opponents are attempting more takedowns than they do? And we see that Mullarkey, for every 1 takedown his opponents give, he's attempting over 4. So, you would like to see maybe a 2.5 to 1, a 3 to 1 control time for to control time against ratio. And he's close to that. He's about 2.7 to 1 seconds of control time for every 1 his opponent gets. But he tries a lot more takedowns, 28 to his opponents only trying 6, and 9 completed takedowns for his opponents only getting 2. So pretty efficient, pretty good. He uses his grappling to win minutes, and he's done so successfully. But Turner is kind of like the opposite, right? He doesn't get many takedowns, and he doesn't shoot for many, and his opponents do shoot for them. So Jalin Turner is used to seeing takedown attempts shot against him. He is having 23 takedowns shot against him in only 7 fights. So that's over 3 takedown attempts against per fight. And despite that fact, he is out controlling his opponents at a 21% to 12% ratio. So I would call Jalin Turner the more efficient grappler here, because in only 4 takedown attempts, he got more control time than his opponents did in 23 takedown attempts. And it took his opponents 23 takedown attempts to get 5 takedowns, when it took Jalin Turner only 4 takedown attempts to get 3 takedowns. So Jalin Turner has been very accurate getting his takedowns. He's been very good at stopping takedowns, and he's only allowed 5 minutes of control time against in 23 takedown attempts. So as good of a moment winner is as Jalin is on the feet, as good of a minute winner as he is on the feet. Those big striking ratios that he has the advantage in, I think, are huge here. But I think what's even more important, you guys, is the fact that he's been so efficient with his defensive grappling. He's not letting guys ride him. He's not letting guys beat him with the wrestling. And I know what you guys are going to say. What about the Frivola fight? Well, what about the Frivola fight? I mean, Jamie Mullarkey does not have the wrestling and jiu-jitsu pedigrees that Matt Frivola does, period. Matt Frivola is a very high-level wrestler and Brazilian jiu-jitsu player, higher level than Mullarkey in both areas. But the thing was, that fight was very close. Jalin Turner outlanded Matt Frivola, and he managed to get some control time himself. So Jamie Mullarkey, when he used a wrestling heavy game plan against Fares Siam, he actually didn't have any success. He lost that fight. And another fight where he shot a whole bunch of takedowns was the Riddell fight, and he didn't win minutes on the ground against Riddell. I mean, he got a couple of takedowns, but he kept getting reversed. I think Jalin Turner is going to be the far better grappler here, you guys. Tall people are extremely difficult to take down in the first place, as evidenced by his 78% takedown defense. Tall people can get chokes from angles that non-tall people can't. So I think that Jalen's not only going to be able to stop some of these takedowns, but I think he's going to be able to threaten with submissions as well. And I think he's much stronger and much bigger than Jamie Mullarkey here. He might even big brother him if this gets into the grappling exchanges. And when we talk about the ground, Jalin Turner is very dangerous there, you guys. He does have 27% of his wins by submission, and he can get chokes, and he's got super long arms. So this is not a matchup I like for Jamie Mullarkey. But let's go and look at the advanced stats that I have for you guys. That is on the furthest left tab of the downloadable stats here. And here we've got the UFC career of Jamie Mullarkey. And right up here, we've got the UFC career of Jalin Turner. So Jalin Turner, the one fight that I want to talk about here, the loss was to Matt Frivola. And we saw him give up a third of the fight in control time, but he got about, 6.6. He got about between 6 and 7% of his fights he got on the control time side. So, this fight took place in control time positions for less than half the fight. And that's the most that he's ever been controlled. We can see here 0 seconds of control time allowed in his last fight, 28 in the fight before that against Kulabau, 10 in the fight against Weaver, 0 in the fight, the win against Kalen Potter, 4 in the fight against Luque, and then we don't have control time numbers from Mustaki, but he kicked Mustaki's ass. It was pretty bad. So the Frivola fight was not like a dominant win for Frivola. It was a unanimous decision, but that fight could have went either way. And even then, Frivola had to work very hard to get those takedowns, you guys. God damn it. Sorry about that. He attempted 13 takedowns in that fight. So he had to work very hard to get those 4 takedowns. And he got 2 reverses. He had 2 submission attempts, but we saw that he was reversed as well. And, we see that this guy, Turner, does get a lot of submission attempts here, as he's had 6 submission attempts in his last 4 fights. So when we go back to the stats here, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the efficiency, is that Jalin Turner is getting way more control time against his opponents, despite the fact he's got 4 takedown attempts and his opponents have 23. And there's been only one guy thus far that's had any success wrestling him, and it was Matt Frivola. And even then, Frivola got reversed once. Frivola got a takedown attempt completely stuffed and wound up on his back in another situation. And Frivola still only got 33% of the fight in control time. He's lucky the judges called that fight for him, because in some of these situations when we're dealing with damage, some of those judges probably would have given that to Turner because he's absolutely landing the harder shots. And you saw Frivola completely unwilling to engage with him on the feet. So that's where we're at with the grappling stats here. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. And Lou Bet you saying, how the hell is Mullarkey only 27? Dude, I was surprised when I saw he was 27 too. And that's what makes this fight so good. It's what makes it so compelling is that both of these guys are looking good thus far in the UFC. The Fares Ziam fight where Mullarkey pushed that grappling heavy game plan, he could have been given the nod in that fight. Mullarkey could be 3-1 here. Nobody would have given him a nod in the Riddell fight, but that's all right. That was a war. It was an absolute classic of a fight. So we know that Mullarkey is incredibly stupid tough. That you're going to need a shovel in order to knock this guy out. But that fight also could have been stopped. He took a lot of damage from Brad Riddell there. But this guy Mullarkey is not going to quit. He is tough. And I can't believe he's only 27 as well. But Jalin Turner right there with 26 years old. Both of these guys got pretty bright futures in the UFC, especially the way they're fighting. Monk saying, what up, Weezy? What up, chat? MMA engine, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Monk. Good to see you in here, brother. Yeah, and I agree there. Excuse me. Chris saying Turner by KO unless Jamie grapples a decision. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to grapple a decision here, man. I think Jamie's going to big brother him. I don't think Mullarkey's going to be able to control him. This is a much bigger man than Fares Ziam, and Fares Ziam is a pure kickboxer, while Jalin Turner's guy, I think he might even be a black belt in BJJ, and he's very difficult to deal with in the clinch. And you see sometimes he gets in the clinch, he just raises his knee up and he touches your chin. Those legs are so long. So I don't see Mullarkey I don't see him winning minutes on the feet. I don't see him winning minutes on the cage. And I don't see him winning minutes on the ground. I think it's going to be a very tough fight for him. And Ilmac saying, hey, Weezy, I love Turner. Thinking by finish. Well, yeah, I'm on Turner as well, Ilmac. And and I think he absolutely can finish. He's got a 100% finish rate. And both of these guys have been knocked out before. So, we do know that Mullarkey's stupid tough. But like I said, a lot of refs would have stopped that fight in the third round against Riddell. Riddell was landing bombs, and Mullarkey clearly didn't have anything left in the tank and was, taking a lot of damage. So, I could see Turner, if he lands one of those big bombs like he was landing in a lot of these other fights, that the fight could get stopped. Like and subscribe, you beautiful people, says Monk. And Lou Betcha in here saying Turner is starting to get a little bit of steam on the betting line. Not too much, but it's early. Yeah, I got Jalin Turner. I'll let the cat out of the bag right here, you guys. I got a 2.7 unit bet on Jalin Turner at minus 135. I got that on Bet Online, I believe, late Saturday night when I started researching the card. So it is moving right now. I believe it's minus 150 in a lot of spots for Jalin Turner, but this line I don't think it's going to move that much more here. There's a lot of people on the Mullarkey side, and I completely get it. You have to respect Mullarkey's ability to mix in that grappling. You have to respect his conditioning and his toughness. He's a born fighter, and that power is very, very meaningful. And Jalin Turner has been knocked out in 3 of his 5 losses. So you can't sleep on Mullarkey's power either. So I understand why people are taking the plus money shot on Mullarkey here. Very clear on TV and big monitor, like more than before. See, that's good, but I'm not surprised about that, you guys, because this is the paid version of StreamYard when I am on the free version of StreamYard. So we're probably getting a better picture here on the paid version. So I'm glad that these stats are popping for you guys. And we got, that is the MMA engine upgrade, only the best for our viewers. My guy Monk knows how to market. And Chris saying, you're right, Daz. I'm kind of blind, so I never wondered why I couldn't read it sometimes prior. Yeah, it's because your Uncle Weezy on his own is a lot more low class than I am when I'm with the MMA engine crew. When I'm doing shows with Brady, those stats pop because we're on Brady's computer and we're not on my old slow laptop. So, but yeah, this is the paid version of StreamYard. So now these things are popping. So yeah, when you get the MMA engine version of Weezy, you get the high class version of Weezy, you guys. Even the chains out. Jake saying, "LOL, Turner's getting steam because all the other money lines are blown out." And yeah, I agree with you, Jake. A lot of them are blown out, and you're going to have to start finding reasons to like guys that are in closely lined fights like Turner. DFS by the number saying, "Good points, Weezy. Appreciate that, brother." And Lou Bet you saying Turner round 3 KOs plus 1,200. Yeah, that's not bad. And yeah, Chris says good spot if Jamie tries to grapple and slows for sure. And Luke Bet you saying Turner round 3 sub plus 2,500. That's even sexier. Yeah. And Turner gets subs. His last win was by submission. So, or no, it was the Brock Weaver win that was by submission. Alex Ramirez, the general, saying press the like button. And he's saying, what's up to Brady? Mark Schillingberg saying, Weezy, I don't know who caught this, but on Stat Diggers the other day, you said Tim Elliott looks like he's on meth when he steps in there. I thought that was the funniest thing I heard all day. Dude, he does the way he moves around and he's bouncing. He's so unorthodox. And then you see that mullet, and you're like, yeah, that guy could have come out of a trailer park somewhere in Missouri, running out of there just before it blows up because of a meth-based explosion. So yeah, Tim Elliott does kind of look like he's on meth, but I'm not at any way suggesting that Tim Elliott is a drug user or anything like that. Not saying that. I say he looks like he's on meth because of the way that he moves, because of the mullet, and because of that very unorthodox, crazy movement that he has. So yeah, not trying to call out Tim Elliott, not saying he's a drug user or anything like that, guys. Appreciate that, Mark. And Chris saying for the I keep thinking Jalin finds a finish, but we all know how MMA works sometimes. Better money line or smaller risk prop pokes. Yeah, I just took the money line, but I felt like I had to jump on it because I knew it would move some. I could see that all the money was coming in on Turner. And you know that 135 wouldn't be there for long, and then that way I figured if it did move and I got cold feet later on in the week, that I could arb out and maybe even make guaranteed money by just betting the other side. If I can get Mullarkey, it's better than plus 135. But you know, I feel really good about this bet. It's a 2.7 unit bet. It's a big bet for me. I've been staying small lately, trying to hammer the spots that I really like. But this is one that I really like. I really do believe that Mullarkey is going to have a very hard time winning minutes in the grappling exchanges here. And at distance, he's going to be dealing with that 3-inch reach disadvantage, and he's not very defensively sound himself. Robert, new name, saying Turner's minus 170 on FanDuel. Damn, the money's coming in on Jalin Turner. Oh, yeah. No worries about the pop of the stats on the free one. The gold is the content anyway, but definitely looks good. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be upgrading my my StreamYard as well. It's just something I've been putting off. But yeah, I also need a new computer because when we do this on Brady for Stat Diggers, for instance, you can see them really well, but it's because we're using Brady's computer and not my old one. So yeah, I'm just glad that now that we're on the paid version of StreamYard, that these stats are popping a lot more. I'm glad. So anyway, let's get to these strength of schedule stats here, you guys. Then we'll look at some lines here and head out of here. So we've got 7 fights for Turner and 4 for Mullarkey. And we see the 2.75 ratio here for Turner and the 2 for Mullarkey, 3.75 total fights and 4.29 for Turner. So Turner's fighting the more experienced competition and the better win-loss competition on the aggregate here. Jalin Turner's average opponent has a record of 3.14 wins and 1.14 losses, while for Mullarkey, it's 2.5 wins and 1.25 losses. And in the wins, it's Jalin Turner who's fighting the better win-loss ratio competition, but it's Mullarkey who's fighting the more experienced competition. So I would say the wins are probably similar here. And the losses are a little bit better for Jalin Turner simply because he's lost to Vicente Luque up a weight class. So, the average guy that beats Jalin Turner has an 8-win and 3-loss record and a 2.67 ratio, while the guy that beats Mullarkey, 2-1 with a 2 ratio. So, yeah, the strength of schedule, I would give the slight advantage here to Jalin Turner. He's fought more fights in the UFC, and better win-loss ratio and more experienced guys on the aggregate. And we look at the last 5 here, and we're going to see a little bit better here from Mullarkey. We got Teixeira outside of the UFC in Australia, and then in the UFC, he fights Brad Riddell, Fares Siam, Kama Worthy, and Devontae Smith. When we look at the last 5 for Jalin Turner here, we see Callan Potter, Matt Frivola, Kulabau, Brock Weaver, and Uros Medic. So recently, especially these last 4 fights, Mullarkey fighting the better brand of competition. But then when we go before Callan Potter, we see Vicente Luque in there. That kind of shifts everything. But we also have one more win in there and one more loss. So I forget who the win was. It was probably the it was the Max Mustaki win. So yeah, Turner fighting guys and beating guys that are a little bit better simply because, Kama Worthy didn't do much in the UFC. The only guy that he beat was Devontae Smith. So, but Mullarkey's last win there against Devontae Smith was a spectacular one, and Devontae is one hell of an opponent. So, this is he's hot right now. 2 fantastic knockouts in a row. Kama Worthy and Devontae Smith, both known for being chinny. Jalin Turner's been knocked down before. Will this be 3 in a row for Mullarkey? Can he find the chin of Jalin Turner? It's certainly possible because Jalin Turner is not particularly fantastic in the defensive realm, just like Mullarkey isn't. That's why I really do believe that the violence prop is potentially even a parlay piece here. Like I say, 24 of 25 combined wins as pros for these guys inside the distance, and 100% of their UFC wins have been inside the distance. That is something, my friends, that screams violence. So let's look at these lines here, you guys, before we get out of here. So we've got, let me refresh the page, get the most up-to-date line right here. We see Jalin Turner sitting here around minus 150 on most books. Minus 155 on Bet Online. Like my guy said, minus 170 on FanDuel. And the best line that we can get on Mullarkey right now is plus 140 on 5 dimes. Otherwise, it's plus 130, plus 135 on Bet Online, and plus 138 on FanDuel. So when we look at the props here, they've got the over-under set at 1.5, which isn't surprising. Both of the fight doesn't go to decisions that are available right now are at minus 210. We've got Mullarkey by knockout plus 400. And if you agree with my assessment of this fight, you guys, and my assessment is that it's going to be hard for him to win minutes on the feet, and it's going to be really hard for him to win minutes on the ground. Maybe if you're on that Mullarkey side, you say his best path is finding that big shot. And look, he's done it 2 fights in a row. The guy clearly has knockout power for the lightweight division, and we've seen Turner dropped before in the UFC. We've seen Turner knocked out before in the UFC. So maybe if you're on that Mullarkey side and you agree with my assessment that, man, trying to take down and hold down a 6'3" guy, who is known for getting Darce chokes and for having a really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu game, being really strong, being tough to take down already with a 78% takedown defense. Maybe what he does is he finds that big shot, and that's how he gets it. Turner by KO or TKO is plus 200. We got Turner by submission at plus 500. Mullarkey by submission at plus 700. Another reason that I like Turner here is I think he can win in enough minutes to win a decision. I think he can get a knockout, and I think he can get a sub. So I like that he's got more than one path here. I think Mullarkey's path is finding that big shot, getting a knockout. I don't think he's subbing Jalin Turner. So maybe another good way to get a little bit more out of the Mullarkey side is to do Mullarkey by knockout or decision. And maybe you can get even better than plus 130, plus 150, plus 160, something like that. Turner round 1 is plus 300. And actually, let me hide that current comment just so we can all see what's going on here. Turner round 1 plus 300. And Mullarkey round 1 plus 550. Turner round 2 plus 550. Mullarkey round 2 plus 700. Turner round 3 plus 1,000. Mullarkey round 3 plus 900. Yeah, you guys, the pick for me is going to be Jalin Turner by second round knockout. I really do think that he's better everywhere than Jamie Mullarkey. And I think kind of Mullarkey's path here, because of the unique physical challenges that Jalin Turner presents with his size and with his style, is landing the big shot. And if I don't like betting on guys that really only have a puncher's chance after I do my analysis. So that's the way I'm feeling with this guy. Let's see here. Let's see here. Chris saying, and no, Weezy or MMA Engine does not condone the use of meth. Absolutely, man. It's terrible for your smile. You do enough of it, and your complexion gets really bad. It looks like somebody tried to put a fire out on your face with a screwdriver. And in terms of you're trying to be healthy and productive, I mean, you could be really productive, I guess, like on meth doing certain things, but yeah, it's bad for you. It's just bad. We don't condone it. I don't condone it. The MMA Engine doesn't condone it. You shouldn't either. That's the public service announcement for you guys. Don't do meth. It's very bad. That was funny on his explanation for you, Mark, but he's spot on. And we got my guy Pascal Roshan in the room. Thanks for joining us, Pascal. Much love to you, brother. He's saying, let's go. And Robert New Name saying, why was the Smith fight canceled? The Smith fight was canceled? Devontae Smith? Oh, are you talking about Devontae Smith versus see, Klein stepped up on short notice because the Smith Gonzalez fight was canceled. I think Gonzalez broke the Ghost Pepper, whatever his name is. I think it's Gonzalez. He broke his foot, or he's got a foot injury, so that's why he couldn't make it. So now Ludovic Klein stepping in to take on Devontae Smith on short notice. So the Smith fight is still happening. It's just with a new opponent. So DFS by the numbers saying, thoughts on Kelleher Umar fight doesn't go to decision, plus 110. Man, that's really interesting, Brady, because Kelleher is a great finisher in his own right. Like at least a 75% finish rate, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the great things, you guys, is that when you come to the MMH Engine channel and you download the stats, they're all available here. So we don't have to just look at Turner Mullarkey. We can go over here to Nurmagomedov against Kelleher, and we can zoom in on these stats, and we can kind of look at the finish numbers for these guys and see that in Brian Kelleher's 36 professional wins or 36 professional fights, he's got 24 wins, and he's got a 75% finishing percentage. So that is 18 of 24 wins inside the distance for Kelleher. And for Nurmagomedov, it's 7 of 13, a lot of them by submission for Umar Nurmagomedov. And Brian Kelleher has been submitted in 50% of his overall losses and 40% of his UFC losses. So Umar Nurmagomedov by submission is a certain possibility. And if he doesn't get that submission, Kelleher can find the chin. He can potentially hurt Nurmagomedov. So fight doesn't go to decision at plus money for a bantamweight fight, for especially a guy that's got as good of a path as Nurmagomedov. I think it's a solid line. I think getting that at plus money is not bad. Daz File says it's shit. I don't know if he's talking about that line or what. Oh, well, yeah, meth. If he's talking about meth, yeah, it's total shit. Nick Alexander says Tony Ferguson and Erwin Rivera condone meth. No way Tony Ferguson does meth. Now, I know Erwin Rivera did some things that were really horrible. So I don't know what Erwin Rivera is up to in his spare time. God. Okay, thanks. And then Cuban Assassin saying, happy Menthol Mondays, Weez. Got my carton of Keith Peterson's Cools ready for tomorrow night's breakdown. Yes, Keith Peterson. Keith Peterson will be the Mo that's in the cage to complete the Three Stooges, which is Kennedy and Chekwu and Nikolai Negamarianu, and then Keith Peterson will be Mo. I think it'll be fantastic, man. That is the Three Stooges breakdown that Brady and I gave you on last night's Stat Diggers. Cuban Assassin, thanks for stopping by, brother. Yeah, Eric Gonzalez was injured. That's right. And yeah, exactly. I didn't know if you meant the Umar Nurmagomedov under, but yeah, it is shit, and absolutely. And Monk saying yes, that is right. So you guys, fantastic breakdown. Thank you guys, 21 of you joining us in here for a Monday night Balls Deep breakdown. I'll be back on my channel tomorrow night for 10 o'clock Central Time to break down all of these fights on Just the Tip. And I will be back on Pub Sports Radio on Wednesday for the DFS show with Monk, Brady, and Luke. And we're going to be doing a lot more content here on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe because there's going to be a ton of new content coming your way on this channel. I'll also be doing the Balls Deep breakdowns on my channel. You can expect another one on my channel Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Central, or no, 10:30 Central Time, because I like to wait until after the Club and Sub guys are done. But thank all you guys for joining us. Daz Files saying thanks, Weezy, in chat. We've got Robert saying thanks. We got Alex Ramirez saying thanks. Press the like button. Good vibes from Nick. You like Felder versus RDA? Well, Felder's not going to fight RDA on less than a week's notice. There's no way. Felder's training for triathlons. He's retired, and he's doing the great job cage side of calling fights. He does fantastic work. Wish Paul Felder all the best. And by wishing Paul Felder all the best, I mean you don't need to fight anymore, man. You got a couple great jobs. You do a great job calling the fights. He doesn't need another RDA fight, man. I'd love to see it. But Paul Felder should probably just stay retired and enjoy his life, man, because he's got a good one. And let RDA get this fight against Islam or against Moicano, which I think would be such a good matchup. I'd love to see Moicano and RDA going at it. I think, I don't know why Islam wants this fight, man. Shouldn't he should just get the title fight next. I mean, come on. What are we waiting for? This guy's done everything he needs to do to get that title shot. He deserves it. He should stay home, get ready for the title shot, and let Moicano step up and take this RDA fight, because that would be fantastic. But Felder versus RDA would be great, but I just don't think Felder should come out of retirement for that fight. We've seen it twice already. And Mark Schillingberg saying, thanks, everyone. Smash the like on your way out if you didn't on your way in. Yeah, Moicano would be fun. It's been fun hanging out on a Monday night with you guys, breaking down this. And I've got the wrong fight up here, but it is the Turner Mullarkey fight. My pick is going to be Jalin Turner, second round knockout. I've got a 2.7 unit bet on the Turner money line at minus 135. And I think it's even still kind of okay at minus 150. I really do think Jalin Turner is better everywhere. And then Mullarkey's going to have a ton of problems trying to win minutes anywhere in this fight. But he could absolutely land that big shot. And he's shown us that power before. We know it's there. And we know that Turner is susceptible to it. And defensively, he's not the best. So anything can happen here. I think violence is on the menu. I think excitement is on the menu. And I think a Jalin Turner win is on the menu, you guys. God bless each and every one of you guys for spending your Monday night with me, your host, Uncle Weezy, on the new MMA Engine YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't yet. See you tomorrow night for Just the Tip, 10 o'clock Central Time on my channel, Uncle Weezy. And let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC 272, you guys. God bless and good night.